Hi guys, I did this simple wired conversion of an electric car or a radio controlled car. So we've got simple forwards and backwards control on the end of a pair of wires, and did away with the little radio receiver, which is an odd size. It's 49 megahertz for some reason, and I've got nothing that will talk to it. That was easy. What I was thinking of doing was doing something a little bit more difficult. I've got a transmitter here that doesn't work. Should be 27 megahertz. It's missing the aerial. And I've got a radio controlled car here that none of my transmitters talk to. So I'm thinking of putting some wires on here that attach to the switches here, because that's all that's underneath these joysticks. There's a couple of switches on either side, and wiring them into the car so we can remote control it on the end of some wires. The first thing I'm going to do is have a look inside the transmitter and see if we've got access to the switches. Here we are. So the switches I'm talking about, you can see them quite clearly here. It's just these pieces of metal that you push down to make contact. I'll just zoom in so we've got a better view of it. So what normally happens is this rocks side to side, and all that does is pushes those metal arms down to make contact. And then doing that sends or makes signals into this little integrated circuit. That's converted to a radio frequency, and that crystal there says 27.145 on it, so that's the 27 megahertz crystal, and that signal is sent out through the aerial. And what I'm going to do is make use of these switches just to put a wired connection out rather than using the radio. So that's that end. I can do this quite simply just by soldering bits of wire on directly there if I want to. I'll probably out of focus again now, aren't we? Let's come back in again, sorry. Yeah, so I can just connect bits of wire onto there. Or I could try and be more complicated and send it through the integrated circuit, but I think we'll do the simple bit first. Now we need to look in the car and see what we can do at the other end. So, inside the radio controlled car, I've got a motor at the back for forwards and backwards, motor at the front for left and right, and the receiver board in the middle there. Now that's interesting. Those are made by the same manufacturer. I didn't buy these together as far as I can remember, but that one's Song Revision 1.0 2011, and this one's Song Revision 3.0 2012. So the car's a bit more recent than the transmitter. There's nothing written on there to indicate what range this one's supposed to work on. Whether they're usually either 40 or 27, aren't they? Might be interesting just to put some batteries in here and in the transmitter and connect the transmitter aerial directly to the receiver aerial. Just see if anything happens before we do any more work on it. Right, put some batteries in. Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh. That's why it stopped working. Batteries fell out. Well, that's a turn up for the books. I didn't expect that to work, as you can tell. Well, I don't think I'll take it apart. It seems to work. I may just see if I can fix some sort of aerial on top of there. Just going to try a different transmitter. Yeah, this one's supposed to be 27 megahertz. It's not working. But this one does. Looks like we've got a lucky coincidence. Okay guys, so a bit of a change of direction. We're actually getting this one working properly. I'll just resolder the wires that go to the LEDs, because that one had come loose. So now we've got white LEDs at the front when we go forwards, and red LEDs at the back when we go backwards. Or at least they're still white, but they've got red covers on them. And we've got a working car. You can see I've put a rather ridiculously long piece of metal on there for the aerial. But we got a working car that I didn't think I had. So I'll put it back on. I'll go and test it in the kitchen, and we'll think of something else to do for this wired conversion project. Just occurred to me that being it's got lights on it, we could give it a try in the semi-darkness in the hall here. So, as I say, we have a working car that I didn't think I had. And we'll have to think of something else for the wired conversion. I've got plenty more that don't work, so we'll see what we can do with them.